Mock 5 video walkthrough. Moving on to question number 1 in our clock section. The question is about identifying the time shown on a clock. You have 4 multiple choice options. Letter A is 2:33, letter B is 12:15, letter C is 1:20, and letter D is 9:40. Now, looking at the clock, the hour hand is just a little bit past the 12, and the minute hand is pointing at the 3. Remember that each number on the clock represents 5 minutes, so the 3 means 15 minutes. Therefore, the correct answer is letter B, 12:15. Next up, we have clock question number 2. This time, your options are letter A, 9:50, letter B, 11:30, letter C, 10:35, and letter D, 8:30. If you take a close look, the hour hand is very close to the number 10, and the minute hand is pointing towards the 7. Now we know that the 7 represents 35 minutes past the hour. So the correct answer here is letter C, 10:35. All right, moving right along to clock question number 3. The options are letter A, 4:10, letter B, 3:20, letter C, 3:55, and letter D, 4:50. Looking at this clock, the hour hand is just before the 4, and the minute hand is really close to the 11. Now remember, when the minute hand is close to the 12, we usually count backwards to see how many minutes it is before the next hour. In this case, it's 5 minutes before 4 o'clock, so that makes the time 3:55. Therefore, the correct answer is letter C, 3:55. Now we're switching gears a bit to some questions about 4 children playing a game. We have Olivia, who has 10 points, James with 8 points, Liam with 12 points, and Nora with 6 points. Question number 4 is asking us who got the highest score. Your choices are letter A, Liam, letter B, Nora, letter C, James, and letter D, Olivia. If we look at each of their scores, Olivia with 10, James with 8, Liam with 12, and Nora with 6. We can easily tell that 12 is the biggest number, so Liam got the most points, making the answer letter A, Liam. For question number 5, we want to know how many points did James and Nora get in total. The choices are letter A, 7, letter B, 2, letter C, 14, and letter D, 6. Now we know that James has 8 points and Nora has 6 points. If we add these two together, 8 plus 6 is 14. So the answer is letter C, 14. Question 6 is asking how many fewer points did Olivia get than Liam? Your answer choices are letter A, 6, letter B, 2, letter C, 5, and letter D, 1. We know that Liam has 12 points and Olivia has 10 points. To find the difference, we have to subtract. 12 minus 10 is equal to 2. So the correct answer is letter B, 2. Moving on to question number 7. How many more points did James get than Nora? The multiple choice answers are letter A, 8, letter B, 2, letter C, 3, and letter D, 1. James has 8 points and Nora has 6 points. Again, we subtract to find the difference. 8 minus 6 equals 2. This makes the correct answer letter B, 2. Okay, question number 8. 2 kids got a total of 16 points. Who were they? The multiple choices are letter A, Olivia and Nora, letter B, James and Liam, and letter C, Liam and Nora. Let's see, Olivia has 10 points and Nora has 6. If we add those up, 10 plus 6 equals 16. So the correct answer is letter A, Olivia and Nora. Next up is question 9. Who got a score that was higher than Nora but less than Olivia? The multiple choice answers are letter A, Liam, letter B, Nora, letter C, James, and letter D, Olivia. Okay, Nora has 6 and Olivia has 10. James has 8 points, which is more than 6, but less than 10, so that means that the answer is letter C, James. Now we are moving on to some population questions. Question number 10 asks us to calculate an approximate population. We know there are about 795 houses in the region, and that the average family size is 6 people. The multiple choice answers are letter A, 4,800, letter B, 5,000, and letter C, 5,500. We need to multiply 795 by 6, which is around 4,770. The closest number to that is the correct answer, letter A, 4,800. Question number 11 involves a town with 1,349 families. Each family has 2 children that go to school, and each school can hold 220 children. We want to know how many schools there are. The multiple choice answers are letter A, 6, letter B, 9, and letter C, 13. If we calculate, there would be about 2,698 children, and if you divide that by 220, you get around 12.26. Now, we can't have part of a school, so we have to round up, which is why the correct answer is letter C, 13. Okay, question number 12. In a survey, for every 1,000 families, 34 babies are born, and 20 are boys, so the other 14 are girls. The city has around 88,300 families. We want to know approximately how many girls were born. The multiple choice answers are letter A, 1,200, letter B, 1,500, and letter C, 1,800. Because we are counting in thousands, we can multiply 14 by 88.3, which is around 1,236. So the closest answer is letter A, 1,200. Question number 13 asks about the difference in population between two cities. One has a population of 67,721, and the other has a population of 52,103. The multiple choice answers are letter A, 13,000, letter B, 14,000, and letter C, 16,000. We must subtract the two numbers to find the difference, which is around 15,600. So the closest answer, and therefore correct answer, is letter C, 16,000. Question 14 asks us about a region's population in 2016, which was 91,274, and we know that it increased by 6,015 in 2017. The multiple choice answers for the new population are letter A, 85,000, letter B, 97,300, and letter C, 99,800. If we add the two numbers together, we get about 97,289, which rounds to 97,300, making the correct answer letter B. So, in this town, we have a total of 26,358 children, and we know that half of them are boys. Now the question asks us to find the approximate number of boys. We have three possible answers to choose from. Answer A says 12,800, answer B says 13,000, and answer C says 13,300. Now, to figure out the answer, we need to find half of 26,358. If we divide 26,358 by 2, we get about 13,179. Now the question asks for the approximate answer. That means we need to round up or down to the nearest number. 13,179 is closest to 13,000, which is answer B. Therefore, the correct answer is B, 13,000.
So now I'm going to be going through the answers to the MVR section of the mini mock. So all these questions in this mock are code questions. So for code questions, what I like to do is find some of the boxes that contain the same letter in the same position, and then see what shape or image or pattern those boxes have in common. For example, box 1 and box 3 both have a P as the first letter of the code. And as you can see, all the answer options also have a P as the first letter. So what boxes 1, 3 and 4 all have in common is this curved arrow in the top left corner. So the first letter determines what type of arrow will be in the top left corner. So we know it's got to be a P. For next, box 1 and 3 also have an L as the third letter. So another thing box 1 and 3 have in common is this shape here. So the third letter determines what that center shape will be. So in box 4 we've got this shape which matches box 2, and the third letter in box 2 is an M. So we know the third letter is going to be an M. Now for the second letter. So box 1, 2 and 3 all have a different second letter, and the shape that is different in all of them is this arrow in the top right corner. There's a different arrow in each of them. So the one in box 4 matches the one in box 2, and the second letter here is a H. So we know the code will be PHM, so the answer's got to be A. Next question. So here, so let's start with the second letter here, because the first letter is an M for all of them, and we know it can't be an M in the answer options. So let's start with the second letter. So box 1 and 3 both have an N, and what they both have in common is the fact that the triangle is in front of the square. So the second letter determines whether the triangle is in front of the square. In box 4, the triangle is also in front of the square. So we know that an N will be the second letter. Now for the third letter, box 1 and 2 both have an O as the third letter. And what they both have in common is that the square is white. In box 4, the square is also white, so it will also have an O as the third letter. So the answer has got to be B due to the NO. Next question. So for this one, box 3 and 4 both have Q as the first letter of the code. And what they both have in common is the thickness of the triangle. As you can see, they both have this sort of thicker triangle. In box 1 and 2, they also have the same thickness of triangle. So the first letter here is an L. So box 2's code will also have an L as the first letter. So the only one with that as an option is C. So C is the answer to this one. Next question. So for this one, box 1 and 4 both have an E as the first letter. And what they have in common is this grey cross. Box 2 also has a grey cross, so we know that E will be the first letter. So we can rule out these two options. Next, let's look at the third letter of the code, because as you can see here, from the remaining two options, they both have an F as the second letter. So instead of looking at the second letter, we're going to look at the third letter. So box 1 and box 3 both have a G as the third letter. And what they both have in common is the black square. Box 2 has a grey square, same as box 4. And the third letter here is a H. So we know that the third letter has got to be a H, so the answer is B. Next question. So for this, we can already rule out one of the answer options. We can rule out answer option B. This is because the code here is an RSR. Box 1 also has the code RSR, but as you can see, the image here, the shape, is not the exact same as the image in box 4. So it can't possibly have the same code. So we can rule that out already. Then now let's look at the U here. So we've got a U as a third letter in box 2 and 3. What they both have in common is the vertical stripes in the second circle. So the third letter determines which direction the stripes are in the second circle. So in box 4, they're horizontal stripes, same as in box 1. So we know that the third letter has got to be the same, so it's got to be an R. So the answer has got to be C. Next question. So for this one, for this one, box 1 and 2 both have an F as the first letter, and they both have a white pentagon, and box 4 has a black pentagon as well as box 3. So we know that the first letter is going to be the same as in box 4, so it's got to be an I as the first letter, so we can rule out this option. Next, let's look at the second letter here, J. So box 2 and box 4 both have a J as the second letter, And what they both have in common is the fact that the pentagon and the circle are touching each other. As you can see, they're touching each other here. Whereas in box 3, they're not touching each other. And same in box 1, they're not touching each other. So the second letter of box 3 has got to be the same as in box 1. So it's got to be a G, IG. The answer here has got to be B. Next question. So for this one, 2 and 3 both have a B as the first letter, and they both have this L shape. Box 1 has this dual-sided arrow, same as in box 4. So the first letter here is an A, first letter here has also got to be an A. So we can rule out all those, and we know that the answer is going to be A. Next question. So here, box 1 and 2 both have a C as the second letter. And the shape they have in common is this stop sign as the second shape. So the second letter must determine what the second shape will be. So as you can see, this is the second shape here, and it is also different from the second shape here. So we know that the second letter of this code can't be a C or a H because it doesn't match with any of the boxes. So we can rule out all these answer options because they contain either a C or a H as the second letter. We know it's got to be a different letter, so V is a different letter. So we know that the answer will be D here. Next question. So as you can see, in 1, 2 and 3, the first and third letter is the same for all of them. And in the shapes in all of these 3 boxes, we have the same shape twice. We also have the same shape twice here, but it's a different shape. So we know that the first and third letter have got to be the same. So we can see that the answer will be D, because the first and third letter are the same here. Next question. So box 1 and 2 both have an S as the first letter, and they both have this zigzag pattern in the heart. Box 3 and 4 have a stripe pattern in the heart, and the first letter in box 3 is a T, so we know it's got to be a T here as well. So we can rule out those two. Next. 2 and 3 both have a W as the second letter, and they both have this pentagon here. 4 has the L shape, same as in 1, and the second letter here is a V, so we know it's going to be TV. So the answer is C here. Next one. So box 1 and 2 both have a T as the first letter, and they both have circles. 3 and 4 both have triangles, and the first letter in 3 is an X. So we know that the first letter here will be an X. So we can rule out those two. Next. 1 and 3 both have a U as the second letter, and they both have 3 shapes. Box 4 has 4 shapes, same as in box 2, and the second letter here is a W, so we know that the second letter will be a W, XW, so the answer is B. Next question. So box 2 and 3 both have a H as the first letter, and they both have a straight, unbroken line for the shape. Whereas in 1, it's a dotted line, same as in 4. So we know that the first letter will match 1. So it will be an F as the first letter. So we can rule out those two. Next. 1 and 3 both have a G as the second letter, and they are both pentagons. 2 is a circle, 4 is a circle, and the second letter here is a J, so the second letter will be a J here, FJ, so the answer is C. Next question. So, first letter in 1 is an F, and in 3 it's an F. And what they have in common is these sort of curved brackets with the pointing outwards like that. The same sort of bracket here. In 4, the bracket is the same as in box 2, so we know the first letter has got to match that. So it's got to be a H as the first letter, so we can rule out that option. Next, 1 and 2 both have an M as the second letter, and they both have a striped shape, whereas 3 and 4 both have an unstriped shape. So the second letter here has got to be a J, HJ, so the answer is A. Next question. So box 1 and 2 both have a Z as the first letter, and they both have a star. And as you can see, 4 is different from boxes 1, 2 and 3. It has an L shape. In box 3 it's a circle, so we know that the first letter can't be a Z or an X, so we can rule out option A. It must be a V as the first letter. Then for the second letter, box 1 and 3 both have a Y, and they both have a triangle as the second shape. Box 4 also has a triangle, so we know that the second letter is going to be a Y, VY. So the answer is B. Next question. So box 1 and 2 both have an S as the second letter, and they both have the same pattern on the inside. So the pattern in a 4 matches the pattern here. So the second letter here has got to be a Q. So we know that the answer will be C. So that's it.
We left off. Question 31. This question asks us to find a single letter that fits at the end of the first word and also at the beginning of the second word. It's like a little puzzle where one letter bridges two words together, forming two new words. So the question reads SLIC, AGL. We have three choices for the missing letter, A, B, T, or CS. If we try each, only one works, E. It makes slice and eagle, so the correct answer is A. Question 32. Let's move to the next one. Here we have line, ace. Again, we have to find the letter that fits at the end of the first word and at the beginning of the second. The choices are A, E, B, R, or CT. When we try them, the letter R completes both words, forming liner and race, so the correct answer is B. Question 3.3. Now let's try another one of these word bridge questions. We have CRO, ill, and our choices are A, W, B, X, or CZ. If we test each of the letters, we will see that W works in both places, creating the words crow and will. So the correct answer is A. Question 34. Okay, we are doing really well, so let's move on to the next one. This time we have SCAR, AST, with options A, S, B, F, or CK. As you can probably guess now, the letter that fits in both is F, giving us scarf and fast, so the correct answer is B. Question 35. Okay, let's keep going. Our next word puzzle has CLU, OOTH, and the letters to try are A, BY, or CB. The letter B fits into both sets of brackets to make the words club and booth, which means that the correct answer is C. Question 36. Okay, now for something a little different. In this type of question, we need to find the two words that are closest in meaning, one from each group. It's about finding the words that share a similar idea. The first group has spotted, striped, colored, and the second group has blank, seen. The multiple choice options are A, spotted, seen, B, striped, blank, or C, colored, seen. The correct answer is A, spotted and seen. They are both related to noticing something visually. Question 37. Let's look at another example. Here we have jump, walk, trot, and leap, spin, swim. The options are A, jump, leap, B, walk, spin, or C, trot, swim. The answer here is A, jump and leap. These words describe similar types of movements. Question 38. Okay, Let's move to the next matching words question. We have complete, complicate, complain, and ending, beginning, finish. The options here are A, complain, beginning, B, complicate, ending, or C, complete, finish. The two words that are the closest in meaning are complete and finish, so the answer is C. Question 39. Let's keep going and do another of these. In this question, we have soap, laundry, brush, and washing powder, liquid. And the choices are A, soap, laundry, B, soap, powder, or C, laundry, washing. The two words that are closely related are laundry and washing, so the correct answer is C. The question asks us to find two words, and each word has to come from a different group. These two words should be the closest in meaning. We have three options. Option A is crop and shepherd. Option B is crook and criminal. And option C is crook and rustler. The correct answer is option B, crooks and criminal. The reason these two words are the closest in meaning is because they are actually synonyms. Synonyms are words that have the same or very similar meaning. A crook is a word we often use to describe someone who does unlawful activities, like a criminal. Now let's move on to question 41. Again, we need to find two words that are the closest in meaning. Each word has to be from a different group. The options are, option A is box and fight. Option B is cube and spade. And option C is bucket and sugar. The correct answer is option A, box and fight. The reason why these words are the closest in meaning is that the word box can also be used as a verb, meaning to engage in a physical fight, making it a synonym to the word fight. 42. Okay, time for a new type of question now. This time we need to find a word that fits into a pattern. It's like a word puzzle where each word has a connection. Here we have cheat, trace, prime, and then stand, blank, delve. The possible answers are A, time, B, dense, C, tense, or D, spine. If you notice the pattern, the missing word that fits is dense, so the answer is B. Question 43. Let's do another pattern puzzle. Here we have bright, great tease, and brutal, blank, giant. Our options are A, fire, B, trial, C, crime, or D, more. If you look carefully, the missing word that creates a similar pattern is trial, so B is the correct answer. Question 44. We are almost there now, let's keep going. This time we have closed, slide timed, then grocer, blank, diode. The options are A, store, B, pour, C, cried, or D, tried. The correct answer here is C, cried, which keeps the pattern going. Question 45. And last but not least is this pattern question. We have cheeky, enact plant, and then video, blank, spire. The choices are A, slope, B, spire, C, drive, or D, trivial. The missing word to complete this pattern is drive, so the answer is C. And that's the end of this section. We've worked through each question step by step, and you've all done a great job. Mock 5 English test, starting with question 46. Question 46. So the question asks, based on the passage, why did the packers share stories and memories when handling items during the packing process? Think about why they would do that while they're trying to pack everything up. The options are, letter A, they wanted to delay the packing process and reminisce about their grandmother. Letter B, the memories triggered by the items made them feel emotional and nostalgic. Letter C, sharing stories helped them make decisions about which items to keep or throw away. Letter D, they were trying to make the packing task more entertaining for everyone involved. The correct answer is letter B. The memories triggered by the items made them feel emotional and nostalgic. This is because the passage tells us that the items belonging to their grandmother made them feel strong emotions, which caused them to share stories and memories. This shows how much these items meant to them and how they helped them remember their grandmother. Question 47. Next, we have question 47. What can be inferred about the grandmother's attitude towards possessions, considering her behavior during the Great Depression? In other words, how did the Great Depression shape how she felt about things? The options are, letter A, she was very materialistic and attached sentimental value to all her belongings. Letter B, she was conscious of waste and believed in using things for a long time. Letter C, she never kept anything that had no practical use or value. Letter D, she was constantly buying new items and replacing old ones. The right answer here is letter B. She was conscious of waste and believed in using things for a long time. The passage explains that the grandmother carefully preserved her things not because she was materialistic, but because of the hardships she faced during the Great Depression, which made her value things and not waste them. She tried to use everything for as long as possible. Question 48. Now for question 48. Based on the passage, what was the Packers' view of the grandmother's habit of keeping things? What did they think about all the things she kept? The options are: letter A, they saw it as a form of hoarding and disorganized clutter. Letter B, they admired her ability to be thrifty and prepared for the future. Letter C, they considered it unnecessary and outdated in their disposable culture. Letter D, they believed it was a result of her inability to adjust to modern times. The correct answer is letter C. They considered it unnecessary and outdated in their disposable culture. This is because the passage tells us that the Packers were from a generation that was used to throwing things away easily, which made their grandmother's habits seem unnecessary and old-fashioned to them. Question 49. Let's move on to question 49. What inference can be made about the Packers' decision to throw away most of the items from the grandmother's house? So, why did they throw away most of the items? The options are: letter A, they had no emotional attachment to her belongings and found them useless. Letter B, they were eager to clean up and move on from the difficult task of packing. Letter C, they felt guilty about discarding her possessions but had no other choice. Letter D, they believed the items were valuable to someone else and would be reused. The right answer is letter A. They had no emotional attachment to her belongings and found them useless. The passage explains that the Packers saw many of their grandmother's things as unnecessary, so they just got rid of them without feeling much for them. They didn't see the sentimental value. Question 50. Finally, we have question 50. How did the Packers view the concept of a safety net as represented by the grandmother's preserved foods and stored items? What did they think about her saving food and other supplies? The options are: letter A, they saw it as a wise precaution in case of future economic crises. Letter B, they considered it a needless worry from a past generation. Letter C, they admired her forethought and believed in the importance of being prepared. Letter D, they viewed it as an outdated and unnecessary practice in their modern times. The correct answer is letter B. They considered it a needless worry from a past generation. The passage suggests that the Packers felt their grandmother's habit of storing items was not needed in today's world, showing a difference in how people thought about saving things then and now. Question 51 asks, what can we figure out about how the Packers felt about the disposable culture of their parents' generation? So what did the Packers think about how their parents' generation would use things once and throw them away? The options are: letter A, that they loved throwing things away after using them once. Letter B, that they thought their parents were great for making a culture of convenience, where you don't have to keep things for long. Letter C, that they didn't feel connected to the idea of throwing things away and liked keeping them instead. Letter D, that they believed in being sustainable and not wasting so much. The correct answer is letter C. They felt disconnected from the throwaway mentality and preferred keeping things. This means that the Packers didn't really like the idea of just using things once and tossing them out. They preferred keeping things. Explanation. The story tells us that even though the Packers knew about the disposable culture, they didn't completely agree with it. They felt a little disconnected from it. Moving on to question 52. Why did the Packers throw away the things that their grandmother was afraid of? The options are: letter A, they thought those things were old and not useful anymore. Letter B, they didn't want to remember the past and just wanted to be done with packing. Letter C, they thought that throwing the stuff away would mean a fresh start. Letter D, they thought that those things represented worries and anxieties that weren't needed. The correct answer is letter D. They felt that the products represented unnecessary worries and anxieties. So they threw away those things because they felt those things represented all the worries that the grandmother used to have. Explanation. The story says that the Packers saw their grandmother's hoarding, her keeping of so many things, as connected to her fear and anxiety. So they threw those things away to move on. Now, let's look at question 53. Based on what we read, what do the photo albums and family heirlooms mean to the Packers? What did these things symbolize or represent? The options are: letter A, that they felt emotionally connected and sentimental towards their grandmother. Letter B, that they wanted to keep the memories and the history of their grandmother's generation. Letter C, that it was a way to connect to their family's past and keep their traditions alive. Letter D, that these were valuable things that could be sold or given to the future family. The correct answer is letter A, emotional attachment and sentimental value to their grandmother. The photo albums and family heirlooms represent the strong feelings of love and connection the Packers had for their grandmother. Explanation. The story tells us that these things had very special meaning and were connected to the feelings that the Packers had for their grandmother. Now on to question 54. What can we guess about the feelings of the Packers while they were packing up their grandmother's house? The options are letter A, that they were mostly sad and grieving throughout. Letter B, that they felt all kinds of emotions, with some memories making them laugh and others making them cry. Letter C, that they were excited to clean and organize the house. Letter D, that they didn't really care and just saw it as a necessary thing they had to do. The correct answer is letter B. They felt a mix of emotions, with memories triggering both laughter and tears. This means that they had a whole mix of feelings. Sometimes they would laugh as they remembered good times, and sometimes they would be sad, remembering their grandmother. Explanation. The story mentions moments of nostalgia, laughter, and sadness, so we know they were experiencing a lot of different emotions. Finally, let's do question 55. How did the Packers feel about saying goodbye to the grandmother's empty house? The options are letter A, they were happy to be done with packing and moving. Letter B, they felt a sense of closure and that it was finally over. Letter C, they were sad to leave the house and the memories behind. Letter D, they were eager to forget everything about the experience. The correct answer is letter B. They felt a sense of closure and finality after completing the task. So they felt that this was the end of something, that they had finished a task, and that was that. This is the end of our Y5 Mini Mach 5 video walkthrough.